idea of me. He just thinks that I'm a daddy's girl, that I'm spoiled.
How do you feel about that?
Well, him telling me that there's more and to dig deeper, it scares me because I'm like, I'm giving you me.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book. You know what? Oh my days, that note was off. Let's do it again, one more time. Hey guys, and welcome to Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book. You know what time it is. That note was slightly off, but we're gonna work on that. Anyway, listen, we're talking to you guys about Ready to Love, and we're dealing specifically with Corvaya, and dealing with obviously Fabrice. And the situation is Corvaya has now developed a reputation, I believe, amongst the men because old boy Fabrice had his image, his idea in his head that she's a daddy's girl. And I think part of that imagery of why he thought she was a daddy's girl and that reputation is partly because maybe what he observed himself, but also as well because of the conversation with Mark Anthony that she had, and maybe what conversation she had with Lyndon and Demario, and how she spoke about him being in a house, living with a flatmate. How she has spoken in the last few episodes. And I told you this at the very beginning, that her attitude is going to catch up with her. Now, of course, it's Fabrice who said it and no one else. But you know what? Maybe he's only not brave enough to say it right now. But it will come out a little bit later on. And I always tell you this, guys, delivery is king. Delivery is king. You may have great content, you may have great words, you may have great ability, but delivery is king. How do you deliver what you deliver is so important. You may find yourself in a space where you can deliver to the masses, but the way you deliver it, the content you deliver it, and how you deliver it don't be working, baby. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. So if you're new to the channel, do me a massive, massive favor. You like it, you're sharing it, you're subscribing to this channel, and then you're clicking on that bell button for the notification of the uploads. And for those of you who are returnees, you already know what the motto is around here. You got the minerals. You got the minerals. Stay hydrated because the streets out there, they're hot. All right, let's get into this video. So, talking about Corvaya, I have said this for the past, but the way that Fabrice approached the situation with Corvaya is interesting because he didn't really give her a chance to open up. He didn't really give her a chance to really express. And then she said out of her mouth one thing which I think just set her back. I'm not going to lie to you, because it was like, we're back here again talking about the situation about money. Now she tried to play it off by saying it wasn't about money, but I said, baby, you're telling a story again which involves what? Money. Darling, I know you may have some trauma there. Maybe you don't want to be broke. Maybe you've experienced some of that. But sis, you keep talking about things that are materialistic and they keep catching you on that. It's the way you talk about this stuff. Let's have a little look in terms of what they were talking about here, right? Let's see if I can get
What a fantastic idea you had.
Okay, good. I'm
Love
glad.
it. A lot of fun. Yeah.
Tell me about your business. What is that like? How long have you been running your own business?
So
Okay, so they end up having a conversation about business. He starts saying how long has he ran his business for, and he begins to describe obviously like what he does and what he has ended up doing, which is selling his particular business. She becomes obviously excited, not too much, but she's smiling on her face and she's appreciative of the fact that this is a gentleman who is mature and who has sold his business, and he's done well for himself in some sense, right? And then she goes on to relate to him in the fact that she has always wanted a man who has sold their business. And it's like, babe, you already got the issue from the Mark Anthony situation about you want to be spoiled. And now you're coming to talk about, I've always wanted a man that has his business. And then obviously after you then end up trying to explain it's not about the monetary stuff. And it's like, sis, you done yourself in. Again, once more, the care of what you think about men doesn't seem to come about who they are, but what they are, rather they can do for you. And that becomes problematic because then you have what we call this usury spirit. That's what it feels like. It feels like you got a usury spirit. You're just here to use people. And reality is you probably aren't. But it feels like you just want to be using people. That's what it feels like. It feels like you just want to use people. And people don't like that. People don't take kindly to that. People don't appreciate that. You feel what I'm saying? Let's listen.
This is a trick.
what do you mean?
Literally, I was asked, what are you looking for? I said, a man that has built and sold a business.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding.
And why would you want that, sis? It's a very weird one, but why would you want that? Now, if you come out and then tell us, okay, what you're about to do, it's not because of the money, I'm going to look at you like, so why would you want somebody who has sold a business? So you want someone who's retired, basically. who has money. That's the whole point. So why, when you say you want a daddy, when he says obviously you want a rich daddy, well, you're kind of giving him those vibes. You're kind of giving him the vibes. You're about to give him those vibes.
Seriously, it's not about the monetary aspect.
Yeah, something to do
wanted
with
to-
it, then there's nothing wrong with that.
But hear me
Let's do
out.
something.
No, hear
when you
me
talk to
out.
me, look, don't worry.
Now, of course, listen, he had his own ideas and he was not going to listen to any of what she was going to say. But she's the fact that she had to start off by saying it's not about the money aspect, yeah, tells you that you already know how it's going to be perceived. And already, remember, several times we've seen you talking about materialism. We want to hear you talk about real stuff, which is how you think, feel about people, what you actually want in a person. Notice that the very thing you wanted in a person, what came up is actually the financial issue. Now, I'm not saying she hasn't had other kind of conversations. I'm sure she has. But the reason why the camera's picking up on this is because that is the prevalent feeling that men are having when they're talking to you. That's why they're picking up on that camera thing. That's not to say that Corvaya hasn't spoken about anything else. I can guarantee you probably spoke about other things. But the reality is the prevalent feeling that the men are feeling is that your constant need for financial talks, your constant need to be taken care of and be spoilt is coming through your energy, it's coming through your behavior, it's coming through in the relationships that you're dealing with these men. And so unfortunately only DeMario was cool with it because he doesn't really mind. He seems to be cool for everything. So let DeMario do what DeMario is doing, right? But other people are feeling the heat of you being a materialistic person and the way you deliver things. Now, she might have thought he was being rude. I mean, you got a little bit of what you've been giving out recently. Can't lie to you. But the fact that he shut it all the way down and didn't really listen and said it's about, don't worry, it's about the money. He told her, listen, no, it's about the money. Okay, and that's okay. He said, listen, just own your. And I think what he wanted from her is just own your truth. Because me, I don't mind, but.
About the things you tell me, I understand those things. If I looked like you, I'd be exactly like you. Believe me.
But that comment now has a different tone to it, a different inclination, a different meaning to it now. He said, if I look like you, I would be the exact same way. So remember what he's inferred. He's inferred that, you know what, you're all about money. Not even all, but he's inferring that, you know what, your choice of why you want a man that's retired or whatever, a man that has sold his business, you know, it's about money. And then it goes on to say, well, if I look like you, I wouldn't do the exact same thing, which is basically saying that I expect that kind of behavior from you because of the way you look. I expect that kind of behavior because of the way that you carry yourself. Baby, listen, you're giving out a signal that's telling you that you're all about materialism and take care of me. I'm a baby girl. Yeah. Now, no one's not saying that people can't, you know, spend a bit of cash on you, take you out, treat you well, treat you nicely financially. What we're saying is don't lead in the conversations like that because it makes it look like the men are just providers and nothing else. You don't like them. You don't love them. You like what they do for you. You love what they do for you, not who they actually are. And that's the biggest mistake because what I do can change. But if you love who I am, that ain't changing. I am who I am. Now, of course, there's parts of me that will change, but you know what I mean, right? I am who I am. Now, for anybody out there, listen, make sure you guys like it, you share, you subscribe, you click on the bell button for notification of uploads. I think the men have clocked her and it won't be a matter of time before she ends up leaving as well. Like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification uploads. We appreciate you guys. Stay locked, so loaded. Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you